she's real, and I'm kind of in love with her.
She's a really grounded character. She's like very realistic. I agree.
You dropped your chapstick.
Yeah, and I love Summer for totally different reasons. Actually, Summer, the reason I love her is because Spencer Grammer does such an amazing job. She really created a dimensional character out of what we knew from the beginning was just, all we knew is, oh, she's just his older sister, so she just talks like this, and I got with her, and we intentionally just said, let's just start with that and see if the actor can do anything with it.
It's amazing what voice actors could bring. You know, I certainly didn't know the full extent of how three-dimensional the characters would become in my shows, and the voiceover actors really bring a lot.
And sometimes it's just the way that they inflect words. I feel like when writers say, oh, this actor really brought new life to the character and took us in the direction, sometimes we assume that that means that they improvise or make up new stuff or came in with a tattoo of the character's biography on their arm. It could really just be they just do their job and read the lines as written, but when they do it and you finally hear the character alive, you all of a sudden know what her favorite food is and where she's coming from, her point of view. Like, just she starts to come alive, and that's interesting. It's not a question you asked, but I answered it. Mr. Meeseeks.
Thank you.
My question is Mr. Poopy Butthole coming back?
Mr. Poopy Butthole!
I was just chuckling in case anybody is in the exhibit hall that's like doesn't know the show. It's like, I wonder if it's any good and I should check it out. Hey, what about Mr. Poopy Butthole? Well, the thing about him is, Mr. Poopy Butthole, I can't.
Poopy Butthole.
I can't. How did you come up with that name? I can't. I can't say for sure. I can't. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'll do everything I can to make it happen. I know people.
He'll find you later and tell you.
You know, he
can't keep his mouth shut.
He's in the video game. Did you download Pocket Morty's for the iOS? It's one of the first people you see is Mr. Poopy Butthole. He gives you little hints about how to play the game.
There's someone really wants to say something over there.
Want to say something?
What?
All right. It just seemed like that person was following their heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hey guys, thanks for coming to our little corner of the country. Congrats on your success with Pocket Morty and the AIDS research, the AIDS Foundation for research and stuff. So actually, by the way, Dino, Anomalisa is playing at Regal South Beach at 10:30, 7:30, and 4 o'clock. So I answer your question.
All right, go see it.
Thank you.
Right,
Yeah. It's not a feel-good film, but
no worries,
check it
I'll
out.
feel good after I start crying. So, question actually, do you foresee any continuity problems with Rick and Morty? Because, for example, and not to ruin it for people who haven't seen it yet, season 1 had a lot of characters, and some of those characters didn't die, but they're not in season 2, and which may be why you're having 14 episodes, quote unquote, for season 3. But how long do you think you can ride this? How long do you think the how long do you think the show's gonna last, and are you gonna be able to address all those continuity issues?
Well,
Don't worry about it.
the way I think about stuff like that is that it's always there. It's cool when it's there. It's cool if you can use it. When you start to write toward it is when the fun meter starts running out, and because you just get bogged down in plot mechanics. I feel like audiences, especially a sci-fi audience, they're like a render farm of like thought about shows, and they connect dots, and they can make charts of like canon and stuff like that, and that's what they should do, and we can actually benefit from that and observe that they're keeping track of certain details. But when we start sitting there in the writer's room and going, and we have done it. You're talking about Cronenberg world and how the fact that that there's a real Jerry and a real Beth and a real Summer that were in season 1, or part of it, and they're still there. We've numerous times when I mentioned earlier the finale that we never wrote. There was a huge Cronenberg part there where Morty ends up back there and having dinner with his old family. And it just kind of, it was like, why are we doing this? Is there any point to it that's gonna give us new insight into Morty or anything like that? And that things have to stand the test of that. So we like Rick being a character that for whom anything is possible. The episodes are never about, he needs to be able to do that because, as we all know, Rick can only turn green when the moon is full. So what if the moon was cut in half? Oh no, how will he turn green? There's some narratives that are driven by that, like those limitations, especially sci-fi. Ours is just, it's like he can do anything. I mean, and therefore the stories don't really come from there. The stories come from examinations of the kind of guy he is.
So more character-driven, essentially.
Yeah, it's emotional and character-driven, and the sci-fi elements, the plot elements,
Morty is
are
very much
actually
character-driven.
The frosting. It's like bread-flavored frosting on a frosting cake, and so I kind of put that in the same category when it comes to like when we start having like 3-hour conversations about. I think it's great that we have those conversations. We sit there. Mike McMahon is like this huge sci-fi nerd. He wrote his own like Star Trek season 8 book where like he's a huge like fanfic kind of like nerd mind. And we have really, really important conversations about the canon of the show and the continuity. But every single time when we've tried to then take that into the series, we always end up going, that conversation's great. It's going to end up representing a crouton of an episode. That's a thrown away line or a picture on a wall. So I hope that answers your question.
It did. Thanks.
We don't purposely forget about the canon. I take that stuff very seriously, but we don't start there to do episodes.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Hi. This is actually a question for